Welcome back to the Forge, where two enter, one leaves champion, and one leaves beaten, battered, and bruised. We have two high-level competitors from last weekend's World Championship qualifier. We have Zwaxor, who was that close to making it, taking second place. I know if it were me, it would have been a bad rest of the day. Hopefully he could enjoy his second place much more than I could. And we also have top 8 finisher coming out of nowhere, Mappo, putting his name on the map, as it were. I believe he is head of the Cartographers Union in Spain. And when I said he, I meant she, because apparently she is potentially the most beautiful woman in all of Soulforge. So let's take a look at our competitors' lists. So first we have Zwaxor. He is running a Brood Queen deck. Let's see. Anything interesting here? 2 Calls, which I like. 2 Echo Wisp. Like that a lot. Basically, this deck is very close to the deck I ran this weekend. I ended up having to take Lotus out to make room for Echo Wisp because I wanted not Predator. I wanted Patriarch in the list. I didn't have Deathweaver in there. Instead of Deathweaver, I had Devourer. What do you think of this list, Jake? Any insights?
I mean, this is really close to what we played on the weekend.
Yeah,
really close. He has Tarsus Deathweaver. We ran without the Deathweaver because we chose to go without Varnus Pact. He also doesn't have Pact, though, so, I like that. He just has the Deathweaver anyway because it's good with so many of the other cards.
Yeah, I think it's a real valid question. What's better, Deathweaver or Patriarch? Patriarch allows you to do disgusting things with Brood Queen and her offspring. Like making a Brood Queen a 4/8 out of the gate means Battlebrand doesn't hit it. It allows you to take it out of range of a bunch of cards that want to try to kill it. Cull still hits it, and so you're kind of left with maybe it's not as good, but it allows you to actually do damage with her and the offspring. You don't want to block that poison guy, and he's pushing through 4 every turn. I'm not sure. I might be willing to go back to a Deathweaver variant. The card that I think needs to be in the deck is Devour. I don't understand running this deck without Devour. I feel like even if you play, like let's say you miss him and you play a Devourer 1 on level 2, when you come around to level 3, playing a level 2 Devourer on level 3 can still win the game. He's that good. So I don't know. I would want Devourers in this deck. I would want 2 to be precise. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I like Devour. It's good in the mirror, with one exception. If you're behind, he's utterly useless because your opponent has Brood Queen on the board, and it doesn't matter how big he gets, he can die instantly at no cost.
Yes, that's true. But I feel like he puts a lot of pressure on the board. So
for sure, yeah.
It's a tough decision. Personally, I think Devourer is fantastic. Devourer won me. Maybe 3 of the 4 games I won were just Devourer. I had a level 1 Devourer win one of the games. He didn't run away to some epic number, but when you have like a 16-14 Devourer, your opponent's looking at that going, what am I supposed to do about that? I don't have an answer to this. So he becomes really powerful. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Mappo's list. I thought Mappo was a man. I was mistaken. She is quite a lovely lady. And apparently likes the money with the $sign necklace. So you got to appreciate that. All right. So her list is an NT list. This is what looks to me to be a bit of a counter to the Brood Queen list. When you have 3 Spite Mages that can just jump in and kill the Brood Queen, you don't have to rely entirely on Culls. He does have them. He's got the Varnus Pact Deathweaver combo. He's got some Devourers to grow. He's got 2 Frostmane Dragons to fill more lanes. Ebon Skull Knights for big guys. I really like this list. What do you think?
I'm a fan of it. I mean, some of you may know that I have played NT on occasion. Sometimes, every once in a while. And I like it a lot.
Quick aside, why were you such a wimp that you didn't play NT last weekend?
I didn't play NT last weekend in my one game of Tournament Soulforge.
And why not?
So really,
what made you choose Brood Queen over NT?
I think the deck had a lot of. It was the deck that we tuned the best in a short period of time going into the event, I think.
Yeah, Okay. I think that is exactly how I would summarize it. This is a deck I was very close to this, pretty close to this list, other than Varus
Yep.
Pact, because I hate Varus Pact. The
Yep.
night before the event, and I just said, you know what? I can't switch horses the night before the event. That's just a really, really bad plan. So I did not. But yeah, I like the list. I think it's really good. I think it will fare quite well in this matchup. I think Devour is great in this matchup. I think Spite Mage is fantastic in this matchup. Doom Rider is. He's basically running in many ways the Brood Queen deck, right? He's got Doom Rider. He's got Devour. He's got Deathweaver. He's got Pact. He's got Direhound. The main difference is instead of killing guys with a Brood Queen, he's killing them with Spite Mage. And I think I'd rather kill him with Spite Mage. It's a little bit more reliable. So we'll see which version is better. Who do you think is going to win this one, Jake?
Well, I have a history and a rule where I support NT on the Forge, so I don't actually even have a choice. I got to back Mappo here with the NT deck.
Gotcha. Yeah, her deck looks strong. I tend to back the player that has the better track record in tournaments, especially if they're playing the meta deck. Just with the assumption that they'll be a little bit more prepared for the big stage, the limelight, if you will. I think I'm going to back Zwaxor here, hesitatingly. Like, I think Mappo could easily win this. I'm openly rooting for Mappo to dethrone the Brood Queen deck. Let's bring in a new metagame that's all NT all the time. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mappo wins, but I'm going to have to pick Zwaxor. All right.
Okay.
Let's bring in our competitors. First, we have Zwaxor. So, Zwaxor, I got to ask you this first. What was your reaction to second place? Was it good, or was it burning down the neighbor's house?
Somewhere in between. I was definitely salty. Like that pack 2 into double Direhound with the Tarsus 3 on the board was frustrating beyond comparison.
Yeah, that'll do it. I didn't actually get to see that, so I'm sorry that happened to you. I've had losses in tournaments to the worst Deathweaver pack combos I've ever seen. And then whenever I try it, I'm like, Deathweaver 3, pack 3, and it's like, seedling, Lotus. I'm like, great. That's awesome. Thanks, Pact. All right, so why'd you bring back the Brood Queen? I mean, did you feel like second place was pretty good? Maybe this was a good deck?
Well, what happened was when I was done with the tournament, I thought about playing the NT deck, similar to what Mappo was playing today. I had the playset of Frostmanes and stuff, so the problem was I didn't really like the deck. A lot of the time I just felt like I was doing a worse version of the Brood Queen deck, and then I went back to Brood Queen. And I experimented a lot and ended up not really changing too much because the list I played at the tournament felt really solid.
Gotcha. Why don't you have Devour on the list? That to me is the most mysterious decision on your part.
I never really got to play with Devour. Like, the one change I made since the tournament that I actually stuck with was changing the 3 Eidolons into 3 Sharpmine Invokers.
Okay.
Because I only played Eidolons in Underdrop ever anyways, and it doesn't level that well.
Right.
Whereas Sharpbound is the exact opposite. And the thing with Devour is there are so many leveling priorities, and as I heard Jake mention, like, Devour is so bad when you're behind. So I never really, I think, gave it a thought. Also because I sometimes have trouble just finding times to play the Doom Rider, even though he is so good.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with all that. To me, I would pull an Invoker and a Lotus for 2 Devours, and they just give you that. If you can set them on the board, even on level 1 in a good spot, they can dominate. Level 2, they just can absolutely win the game. But I understand the thought process. Like, it took me a while to get to where I was like, this. Like, so my original build was 3 Doom Riders, 3 Devours, and then I was like, Devour doesn't work, and I pulled it entirely. And then as I started playing the deck more and more, I was like, I need a win condition, and that's when I ended up putting back in only 2 of them. So we'll see which way is better. But I do like the Invoker over the Eidolon. Invoker is really strong as an underdrop.
Yeah, he's like extra city and Direhound a lot of the time, actually, because you can just sack him for value after pummeling something.
Yep, exactly. So what do you think are your chances today against Mappo and his NT deck?
Like again, I played the NT deck, and I didn't do very well in the news, but that might just be because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know the leveling pattern of the deck, and I didn't really take time to really figure it out. Because I just concluded that everything I was doing did not feel on the power level of Brew Queen. So it'll be interesting, but I think Brew Queen is still just better as a deck. But I don't know, Mappo is a strong player, so it could go either way.
Okay. Yeah, and someone in chat has noted that obviously we can't cut any more green cards because it's only at 11. So we would have to find other cards to cut. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't have Deathweaver in my build, is because I needed to still have, I think I won it with 12 green cards, and then I wanted the Devour. So that really does seem to be the sticking point. Do you want Deathweaver or do you want Devour? So how good have you found Deathweaver to be without Varna's Pact?
Well, the thing with Deathweaver is that you just level him whenever you have the time, and he makes sort of your underdrops like Lotus and Echoist just that much stronger, as well as the Brute Fangs. And also, I found him to be actually at his most powerful. If you have a Nephrax active on the board, you just play a Tarsus, and the Spirit is just way bigger all of a sudden, and you just build a battle chip. Just that one. Maybe in level 2, it's a 14/14 Spirit, could just be enough to take the game, because they also have to deal with Nephrax and the Tarsus.
Yeah, that's true. All right, it'll be interesting to watch in action. Okay.
I'll also note, just one last thing, even though I am contractually obligated to root for the NT deck, I will say that anything with Varna's Pact does not qualify as a proper NT deck. So that's why I hope that I win.
Throwing down the gauntlet.
All right, that's
like
an okay disclaimer. I can respect that.
All right. Well, let's see what Mappo says. So Mappo, you've been called out for running Varna's Pact. What's the deal with Varna's Pact, man? Why are you running it?
I mean, I think Varna's Pact is just incredibly powerful in certain situations, and it would be silly not to give yourself that option, particularly with the interaction with Direhound. It's so good if you get it in the right place, and it's not like it's a bad card otherwise. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to run it.
Gotcha. So is one of the main reasons why you're running it because of the Direhound interaction? Like, if Direhound didn't have that interaction and there was this Brood Queen meta, do you still think it's a really strong card?
No. The reason I'm running it is because Direhound interacts with it the way it does. Again, like, it's not a bad card without it. It just, that's what puts it over the top and worth a spot.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I think it's really interesting that this tournament was really shaped by a feature of Soulforge. I'm not going to call it a bug because it functions just fine, but an unintended consequence shaped the entire metagame. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so talk a little bit about your deck here. You have some interesting choices here. You've got Cinderbound Barbarian in the deck. You've got Frostmane Dragons, back to Ebon Skull Knights. What's going on here?
Yeah. Well, so I'll point out, you talked about my deck that I ran in the tournament earlier on stream, which is similar to this one. The reason I only had one Frostmane Dragon in that deck is because I only owned one. After I made top 8, I bought myself a celebratory pack and got a second one. So there's 2. I would run 3 if I had them.
Gotcha.
I really like Cinderbound Barbarian. I like all the underdrop cycle that came out in this most recent set. I think they're really strong. I mean, it's removal on a stick, and it's a lot like Direhound in that sense, although a bit weaker because you can't play it during your first level. But yeah, I mean, this deck was, I threw my tournament deck together at the last minute, kind of in the way that you suggested is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it really didn't work out for
I had been playing Brood Queen matchups all week against my A1 teammates, and I had worn myself out of them by the time the tournament actually came around. And so I put this together kind of to counter them. It's not a hard counter, but it has, I think, enough power in it that it has a decent chance against other decks if I saw other decks, which I didn't really.
So I just want to clarify something. So you took a deck to counter your own teammates. That was the sole reason you chose this deck.
It was not specifically to counter teammates. I knew Brood Queen was going to be run by a lot more people than A1. And it's not a hard counter. I think it has a slightly favorable matchup, but that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had the exact same situation where I saw so many Brood Queen mirrors, and I had no interest in playing Brood Queen. By the time Saturday came around, I was like, oh dear God, why didn't I find anything other than this stupid Brood Queen deck? I hate this deck.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so Jake, that's why Jake dropped after one round. He was like, all right, forget it. I'm not doing Brood Queen mirrors all day. I'm out.
I was done.
Is it because he faced a mirror, or is it because he lost to a mirror?
Because he lost to a mirror, but in crushing fashion. I believe they drew like 6 Brood Queens to his 0, and he was just like...
It was 6-0 across the first 2 player
that's
levels.
definitely the worst way to lose that matchup, is they just get their Brood Queens and you can't get them off the board.
Yeah, that's not any fun at all. So what about Devour? Is he basically in here because Brood Queen meta, he's just really good for it, or is he in here because stuff like Spite Mage triggers him immediately, Barbarian usually comes in, kills someone, and dies the turn he comes in? Like, there seems to be a lot of synergy with Devour with or without a Brood Queen meta.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. I mean, you need some sort of threat in a removal-heavy deck. And yeah, Devourer worked really well with Spite Mage, which is also a really nice removable in this meta because it's not hit by Aetherphage.
Yep.
So Devourer works really well with that. And yeah, I only have 2 Doom Riders, so I need some more Grimgaunts somehow. And yeah, they can get really out of control even in rank 2 if your opponent doesn't deal with them quickly.
Right. Speaking of Aetherphage is one of the main reasons why I don't like Varna's Pact right now. I feel like unless you can get the Direhound shenanigans, you invest in that card, and then they just pull it away from you. If you were not able to exploit the Direhound situation, would you still be running Deathweaver in Pact, or would you pull all 6 of those cards and go some other route?
I would probably pull all 6 of those cards.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, Varna's Pact is a secondary win condition for this deck. The Grimgaunts are the primary win condition, and Varna's Pact's there in case I get lucky.
Fair enough. All right. Beautiful lady. Nice, deep, gravelly voice. I like the combination.
Thank you.
So, Mappo, how badly are you going to beat Zwaxor since you have the counter to his deck?
Well, so again, it's not a pure counter. I'm going to let Zwaxor look a little bit good because he's a teammate, and I don't want to humiliate him. Yeah. I was really sad that I didn't get to meet Zwaxor in the tournament on Saturday. I really wanted to beat him with an NT deck after he had given up on the faction pairing, but I didn't get that chance, so I'm glad to have that today.
Exactly. It would have been quite fitting. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to the games then. That's what we're here for. I want to see how this plays out. All right. So, here we go. Zwaxor, why don't you go ahead and challenge Mappo? Let's get this thing going.
Let's do this. BB the Q.
What's that?
I like it. His deck name is BB the Q.
Whose deck name?
Zwaxor.
BB the Q. Alright, interesting. I feel like Mappo is the best teammate ever. I'm going to test with you all week, then I'm going to build a counter to you, and I want to beat you in the tournament.
I feel like that goes against team rules. I think that has to be against team rules.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just kidding about all that. That's what's so cool about having a team full of good players. You can see there's a difference. A lot of people, what happened is they played the mirror like in the queue, and then they pounded the mirror, and they're like, the mirror is all skill-based. You just have to know how to do it, and then you get in the tournament against other good players who know how to handle the mirror, and you're like, oh, the mirror is really coin flippy. That's unfortunate.
And that's the thing. If you're playing against worse players, then sure, you can outplay them. But if you're playing against people who also know what they're doing,
yeah, it becomes really tough. All right, so
it's
this
a
is
completely
interesting.
different situation.
Is he going to go...
You need to change the score quick back to 0-0.
Oh, yeah. He could go Deathweaver, Echo Wisp, and take out that Ebon Skull. But I mean, he probably wants that Nephrax online, so it's kind of a tricky one. And yeah, I'll change this to 0-0. Seems fair.
No, I think he goes Echo Wisp.
Yeah, I think he does too.
I don't think Nephrax is a huge play against the NT deck because he'll just kill it with his 15 removal spells.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that many removal spells, and you can just Aetherphage those suckers.
Well, yeah, and if you back it up, but I think using your turn 1 to get Nefrax down when he hasn't used any Spite Mages yet or anything
Yeah,
would be...
I agree. I think here you play Devour. Yeah, get him down. There's going to be double trigger right off the bat. You're going to be able to kill that Echo Wisp without a problem. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Brood Queen. Way out on a limb.
Really?
Way out on a limb.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Alright, so he's going to put Deathweaver there. And then Brood Queen. It's interesting. He could
Make
put
a giant snake.
Deathweaver in 3 and hope to trade, but he might be worried about an epidemic or something.
Well, I like this way better because now he's proposing a trade of the token and he keeps the Deathweaver potentially.
Essentially.
I mean, we know Mappo does have epidemics though. So.
Yeah, I think Epidemic. Let's see, is Epidemic going to do enough for him here? Yeah, if he goes Epidemic plus Hound,
Oh,
he could do
he
some
should
pretty
have
cool. Has anything died yet though? I don't think it has it? No, yeah, the Ebon Skull Echo Wisp. So, Hound into Pact is pretty dicey. Epidemic Hound is kind of interesting because you could make a really big Devour. Now, I'm not sure you want to do that because a Devourer will then die to the Brood Queen. But you could go Epidemic Hound on the Brood Queen.
Well, you would have to knock the Brood Queen off.
Exactly.
The problem is then your Devour's still poisoned.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, this was just a remove the Brood Queen turn. That's the problem with the Brood Queen. Growing Devours against the Brood Queen does not work all that well.
Yeah, it was actually my point that I made in the pregame.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so he's going to Brood Queen again. Almost certainly put the pop in front of the Doom Rider to poison him, get him on his way out the door. The question becomes, does he do like a Lotus and try to fill 3 lanes? Does he play an Ether Phage to try to make sure his opponent doesn't pull a Cull or something?
I don't think Lotus is the play.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. I like Ether Phage. There you go.
I
And he
do too.
pulls a burn out for free.
This is interesting.
And now the pop can go in front of the Hound if he wants. Yeah.
There we go. That seems to work pretty well. All right, so goodbye, Doom Rider. It was nice. Devour. It was nice knowing you. He only has 4 cards. 2 of them are Barbarians, so I think we know his play. The other 2 cards. What was the other one? I didn't see it. So he's gonna. Okay. So this is kind of the problem.
Comes down.
Is he gonna hit the Broodfang? I imagine not.
I would think he would. Yeah.
He does.
Well, I'm shrinking the Brood Queen doesn't do anything because next turn it does to anything, right? So.
Yeah, and this also removes the Offspring, so he can't hit it. And this was a really good timing for a Lotus. I think he's considering Deathweaver Lotus. I think I would go Doom Rider Lotus. You get a lot of growth out of this Doom Rider. Yeah, so he's going to do it. Yep, blow that one up.
Here we go.
The other one trades off. He grows twice. I think that's a great play. The question
Seems
becomes,
alright.
do you remove the Dragon or the Dire Hound? So he
Definitely
does
the
go for
dragon. Definitely the dragon.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wasn't sure which way he would do it. All right, look at that. He just keeps drawing them. Here we go, Devourer 2. Oh, yeah.
Bam.
That's what we wanted to see. 2 death triggers immediately. The question is, he doesn't have a great second play here. Is he going to play something like Burnout on the Doom Rider? Is he just going to get a Varnus Pact leveled? I'm not really sure what the right play is here. Like, this game has really convinced me more and more. I don't like Deathweaver. Like, he hasn't played Deathweaver yet. This is the matchup to play him, Deathweaver Pact. He hasn't had time to play him.
We talking Zwaxor playing Deathweaver, or you mean
Mappo,
NT?
the NT
Yeah,
player.
okay.
I
Yeah.
really don't like the Deathweaver Pact combo in the deck. I want to find, and that's why I didn't run the deck. Is because I was like, I don't
mind the Deathweaver half of that combo, but I'm not really willing to play Pact most of the time.
Yeah, I want to find a different win condition. Yeah, so it looks like just leveling a Deathweaver is the best he's got. And that's not a very strong play, I don't feel like.
It could turn into one potentially.
Maybe. Deathweaver 1 doesn't do that much. Alright. So here, Ether Phage to me is the play because you need to be. He's got a Cull. He can cull either your Broodfang or your your queen, but maybe he just wants to fill lanes with Echo Wisp, be able to trigger that Doom Rider. I know he's got a lot of options here. Even an Invoker to make that Doom Rider bigger is kind of interesting.
It's not actually that bad because it is going to be runaway freight train style potentially.
Yeah. The problem is your opponent's running Spite Mage, and Doom Rider's under leveled, which means any Spite Mage
It can die to any Spite Mage whatsoever. Yeah.
So it's probably a risky play to make. So Mappo is a very interesting play here. If he calls the Brood Fang, he still dies to the Brood Queen. If he kills the Brood Queen, he dies to the Brood Fang. So that is why Brood Queen is so amazing. That offspring having poison is just insane.
So good.
But he
So
does
good.
have a play here. He can go Barbarian, killing the Brood Fang, cull the Brood Queen. The Devourer becomes a monster. It would actually...
Well, it's going to get shrunk by 1 and then do...
Yeah,
Well,
but
not if he kills in the right order. He just kills the Brood
Exactly.
Fang first. Yeah.
I think he can kill the Doom Rider also with this Devourer. I think the play is Barbarian first, hitting the Brood Fang. You'll be big enough. You'll kill the Doom Rider. Then there's gonna be a trigger with that Echo Wisp, and then the call. Yeah, that's a super strong play. That puts so much pressure on Zwaxor. It's basically like, do you have an answer for my Devourer? Because if you don't, this game is about to get real dicey for you.
To get real.
And Zwaxor's like, of course I do.
Why wouldn't I?
Deathweaver 2, boom. Remember when Tiny said he didn't like Deathweaver? Tiny's an idiot.
I can agree with that statement. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to endorse that on paper if
I
needed.
thought you could. So, Mappo not getting any Spite Mages down level 1 is a real problem. I think it's going to define this game. I don't think Mappo's going to win this game because of that. But I guess we'll see. Here comes Brood Queen. The question is, where do you put the Offspring? It's going to be a pretty big Offspring, actually.
Yeah, it'll have some bulk to it.
Some beef.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. I mean, it's interesting because he's going to be able to move the dragon, so it's not like it's anywhere you put it. It's not like it's guaranteed to do damage. But I like that. Invoker up the Brood Queen. Now it's a monster.
It's very solid. It gets really big. You buff the Brood Queen, look out, world.
Yeah. All right. So Mappo's got Doom Rider. He's got an egg. That's interesting with the Deathweaver. That egg gets kind of big. I wonder if he was tempted to put it somewhere else to grow stuff. So, is he gonna move? Where's he gonna move this dragon to? Maybe in 1? How's he gonna handle the Deathweaver? I guess is the question. Is he just gonna let all his threats go? Because his opponent has a ton of threats.
He's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he's got cool stuff. He's got a Dragon 2, a Doom Rider. He can grow it a whole bunch of times. But for what? 5 is 10. He can't kill the Brood Queen by going Direhound, Doom Rider. He could kill the Deathweaver that way, but is that really worth it? I don't know. He's in...
I don't know. I mean, it might be.
He's in a rough
You
spot right
can't.
here.
You can't really handle the rest of what Zwaxor is presenting. So.
Yeah, this is pretty much best case for Zwaxor. He's got his board just loaded up with stuff. Alright, so he's going to take out the Deathweaver. Seems reasonable. But basically, I mean, I guess what he's thinking is, I now have a Dragon and a Doom Rider, and you can't kill them both with Brood Queen. You're going to have to choose.
Well, I mean, he's gonna kill the Doom Rider with the Brood Queen, I would imagine.
Yes, I would imagine so as well.
And simply block the dragon.
if Zwaxor draws a Brood Queen 2 here, Mappo's pretty much boned, but he didn't. And so this makes it much more interesting.
Yeah.
But getting that second dragon is really brutal.
Oh, I mean, the dragon's amazing. I love the dragon.
Yeah, that card is really good. When I
Funny how you
spoiled it,
pivoted on that because last week you were not a fan of the dragon.
yeah, no, it was really, it's this metagame that really shifted my opinion of the dragon, because you really have to find a way to put multiple cards on the board, and I'd rather do it through the dragon than I would through Varna's Pact.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's a more consistent play than Varna's Pacting. That's another, we talked about this where the metagame is still shifting because people don't have all the cards. Mappo doesn't have 3 dragons. I only have 2 dragons.
Do we know that for sure? He didn't just choose to run 2 dragons? Okay.
Yeah, he only had 1 in the tournament because he only owned 1.
Okay. I wish there was trading. I have like 6 dragons.
Quite you. Trading will be here soon. I heard tomorrow. No.
Really? Tomorrow?
No,
all right.
That is
up.
a lie. That is a bold face
I'll take
lie.
that as Bible. That is now gospel.
Don't we all wish? All right, so Doom Rider 3 has to come down. The nice thing is he didn't get a Brood Queen. So, do you just go like Deathweaver, blocks Brood Queen? The problem is you're not getting many deaths here. He's only -3/-3, so you can't move Dragon over. That won't handle the Broodfang. What's the other play? Yeah, I think I like that. It doesn't grow the Doom Rider, but you know what? If he wants to take your threats off the board, that will grow the Doom Rider.
Yeah.
So Mappo's kind of taking this game over.
Big
Zwaxor
surge, big
whiffed.
comeback.
Zwaxor didn't get Brood Queens for a little while. He whiffed on player level 3, and now he's in a tough pickle.
Really, a pickle. Interesting.
Yep, it's a pickle.
All right, then.
And now what? Echo Wisp just to clog more lanes? Nope.
What's he going to buff here?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. What do you buff?
I like the Broodfang. It's just a shame he couldn't do it pre-combat.
Yeah, exactly.
But damage. Especially because Mappo's down to 30 already.
Oh my goodness.
Like, he's low, but he's got that giant Doom Rider, and there's no Brood Queen in sight. Self-buff? Yeah, okay. I think I agree with that.
Yeah. Let's see. He's got the level 2 Ebon Skull, which, could be reasonable here. It'd be nice to kill the Broodfang with Trickery. I might Varna's Pact in front of the Broodfang, and then Doom Rider will come over and finish it if you get a bad shot on it. Yes, that's what he is going to do. And he did not get a bad shot on it. He did quite well. I think I would hit the Invoker to keep the Doom Rider as big as possible. He chooses not to. Said he goes for a giant board. Can't really fault a guy for that.
Here comes the big Echo Wisp, though.
Echo 3!
Big Man Wisp.
Bum, bum, bum. The question is, do you Doom Rider before combat? Just to get more
I think you don't.
growth.
I think you don't, because you need to put a guy in front of the Doom Rider.
Double block. I agree. And that block works actually really well. A play that's really amazing here that Mappo does not have at his disposal is to play a guy, cull it, and get
To move
the
the
Doom Rider
Doom Rider.
to move. That's one of my very favorite plays. Looks like that Doom Rider is going to die, but he's got to Devour 3 to kind of take his spot. There's 4 death triggers right there. He can Barbarian to get a 5th death trigger. I think Devour 3 wins this game. Because why? Zwaxor hasn't seen his stuff. Oh,
There's no Brood Queen to kill it, so...
I forgot about that, and it moves the Doom Rider over, too. So he got... Oh, wow, that worked out perfectly. So he got the damage from the Doom Rider push.
And now it's still a
And
trade.
now they trade. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Wow. Doom Rider, you so crazy.
And he gets 4 death triggers here. When his turn rolls around, the Devour is a monster. Yeah, not surprisingly, he blocks it. And he's going to pull the burn out, because he has to. Otherwise, he pretty much dies. And then what? Deathweaver, I guess? Yeah. Doesn't do that much for you, but it's a Deathweaver, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the nice part about Deathweaver. Even if you don't have the synergy cards with him, he's still got a good body. So
Yep. I think I like Deathweaver and say like 5 Varna's Pact in 1, setting up a death trigger. You never know, you could get something crazy like a Lotus or a Devourer 2 that actually trades with the Deathweaver now.
That works.
Nice. That'll work.
Gives you triggers. Here come the chump
boy.
blockers.
So he's gonna Lotus here as his chump blocker.
He's got to block twice. Yeah.
Okay, I like
so he
this.
goes for the poison first here.
Yep.
Get the Brood Queen down, sure.
Love the poison. And then I think you got to block with Deathweaver to put damage on, right? You can't just block with a Lotus. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That could really hurt. I'll have to see if Zwaxor can come up with Mappo can come up with a way to handle that Deathweaver. Because this Deathweaver could now do some really good stuff. Since he's poisoned the Devourer, it really puts a damper on what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we got another Devourer 3. Mappo is dancing in the streets here. Do you pact here? Maybe post-combat after you kill that Deathweaver? Try to get something crazy? You got a Deathweaver down. I don't feel like there's another great play to be made.
Yeah, I think it's got to be packed. I mean, the rest of these cards don't do a lot.
Yeah, I would have definitely done that post-combat to try to get that Deathweaver 3.
Yeah, definitely. You would let the Deathweaver 3 hit the dirt first.
Yeah. Alright, so Zwaxor continuing not to see Brood Queens on level.
He's got the Echo Wisp again.
Yep. That should help. It's going to kill lots of stuff, but it is going to make a pretty big Devour. It's the real downside of this play. Wow, that guy got big in a hurry. Alright, so he's going to pull the Pact, which is the problem with playing the Pact. But now we've got the Doom Rider 3. And Mappo's just like, game-winning cards got him.
Got him in
No
spades.
problem. And Zwaxor does not have as many game-winning cards. I mean, he's basically controlling the board with Brood Queens and then hoping to win with a Doom Rider, whereas Mappo's like, threats. I got threats coming out of my ears, man. I got threats.
Threats are those things you play every turn, right?
Exactly. And big ones.
Yeah, especially big ones.
Look at this. Oh, my goodness. I picked Mappo, right?
No, you didn't.
I'm pretty sure I must have.
I'm 100% sure that you didn't.
Oh, man.
Hey, this is still tight. 20 life on one side, 36 on the other. There's big guys. Ooh,
I missed
that's
this
not good.
play, so I'm not sure what the right call is of what he wants to pull.
That's not good.
What did he pull? Oh, he's still thinking about it.
He's still thinking about it. He's looking at him, but
Is that
it's
the
grim.
Etherphage going to kill the Devourer? I didn't see that.
I don't
With
think
the
so.
poison? It might with the
Could
poison.
be 18, 14, 11. No, I won't kill it.
Okay. Then he might need to pull the burnout, otherwise he dies to death.
Oh, really? To death?
Yep, to death.
That death will get you.
Yeah, because looking at his hand, he didn't look like he had anything bigger than 8. He didn't pull it. That loses, right? Like that instantly loses. Oh, that was post-combat. All right, that's my bad.
Yeah, he actually dies either way.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Because, for example, he could have epidemicked and then culled it.
Right. So there's no
Because
way
it would've
around
been
that. That was just
Yeah,
a
there's
mess.
no way around that.
He
It was just
stuck in.
death. Like I said, it doesn't look good when he looked at the 3 spells.
Mappo with the win.
With
Out
the
of the
1-0 for the NT.
Countering his teammate.
Wow, what a backstab. Drama.
Mappo, ex-member of A1.
Formerly A1.
Now starting his own team, the Cartographers. Oh, man. Yep. All right.
All right, here we go.
What do you play here, Devour or Doom Rider? I like Devour better than Doom Rider against, especially since NT doesn't flood the board quite as heavily. Doom Rider's not quite as good, I don't think. All right, we're going with a Lotus right out of the gate, followed by an Echo Wisp, basically taunting him. I think Devour Epidemic is pretty amazing here. You're going to get a very big level 1 Devourer. They don't have the Brood Queen yet. You might be able to harness this a bit.
Oh, yeah, that seems alright. There is, however, some business coming down now.
Here she comes.
Here comes the business.
Throwing the Doom Rider. But that Devour, the level 1 Devour, running away with the game. I think I like Spite Mage Cull here and just remove his threats. You already got 2 Devours left. I don't think you need another one.
Sure.
I mean, it'd be nice in the perfect world. He should have called first, though.
I was going to say, if he's culling, why would he not do pre-combat?
Oh, no.
No. The Doom Rider would have moved. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, we got there. We're a little bit on the slow here in the brain department.
But we made it.
I mean, heck, you should have seen Tiger playing Hearthstone yesterday. Just saying.
Come on, man. Come on. Watch it now.
Just saying.
Right,
that's so beautiful.
Yep. That kills him. The only downside is it doesn't let him put the Brood Queen down. But did he play 1 Brood Queen, right?
Yeah, he's played 1 Brood Queen.
Right. I mean, he's got some crazy plays. He could double Dire Hound to kill the Doom Rider if he wanted. I'm not sure I like that play. I might rather go like Dragon. I mean, he doesn't need a Dire Hound at all. Maybe just I don't know, because he can't play Ebon Skull. I don't know. I mean, 1 Dragon plus, 1 Dire Hound plus Dragon seems weak. So maybe you do just Epidemic.
Just get the Epidemic leveled.
It moves the Dire Hound away too, so you push more damage that way.
The Doom Rider.
I'm not sure that matters that much, but
I don't think it matters a lot at this point. But hey, it never hurts.
Yeah, I might have rather just traded for that Doom Rider, because instead of he's going to get to keep his Doom Rider and trade for something much worse. In theory, the Doom Rider won't get big enough to matter. You'll be able to still trade it for level 1, but
bam! Here comes Nefrax.
Yeah, Nefrax is a beast. Nefrax
Big man Nefrax on the block.
Nefrax plus Doom Rider is borderline unfair. That's
borderline?
Such an amazing combo.
Have you tried having them play together? I wouldn't call it borderline.
I only own 1 Nefrax, which just
oh yes, that's right. You're one of those
me.
peasants. I forgot. My bad.
Okay.
One of those 1 Nefrax people.
So here was the problem: not taking off that Doom Rider when he had the chance for a card that was clearly going to die anyway. He gained 9 damage, but now he's going to have to 2-for-1 himself, which I would have traded the Devourer for him for that reason.
Yeah.
He's in a really bad spot actually right now, because Nefrax is going to start pumping out dudes. What is he going to do here?
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, but, he was in a pretty bad spot for most of the first half of the game last time, too. And that really turned around when Player Level 3 came around.
Yeah, even level 2. That Devourer 2, the 2 Devourer 2s just changed everything. I feel like, though, he made a mistake that put him in the spot. I feel like if that Doom Rider was dead, he'd be pretty much fine. And now he's got this Doom Rider who's just annoying him to no end.
Yeah, I do wish the Doom Rider was off the board, for sure.
It's really dangerous to ever leave them around because they grow so quickly. I don't know. This is a tough spot. I mean, do you just put the Deathweaver down, level it? Do you pact here? I mean, you could pact in front of the Doom Rider and you have a shot at killing him. Like, that's half the point, as with the Dire Hounds and stuff. I don't remember if any Dire Hounds have seen the board, though. I'm sure that they have.
Yes. There has been. I think.
So he gets to...
I could be crazy, though, too. So
you are definitely crazy. That has no bearing on whether they hit the board.
Fair enough.
I like that. Then you make the new guy in front of the dragon, kills him. They trade. Doom Rider moves over. The one downside of that play is Doom Rider is going to end up in front of Deathweaver, not killing Deathweaver, which is kind of unfortunate. But
yeah,
okay.
but I mean, at some point, your Doom Rider just has to do combat instead of dancing around and getting bigger. Sometimes, eventually, he just has to sit down and punch people.
Eventually, Doom Rider has to actually die, even though he's level 1. So he's not. Yeah. He's going for the other approach. Okay. He's saying, no, I'm going to grow this Doom Rider to just ridiculous proportions, then make my guy. I kind of like this play better than any line I was looking at.
Yeah, I think this actually, now looking at the board, looks a lot better than whatever the heck you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Doom Rider won out of 10-13. This is why Doom Rider
whatever
is so
you
strong.
said is terrible compared to this.
Thank you. Thanks for making that abundantly clear. I appreciate it.
I'm happy to help.
The Barbarian's pretty good now. He can do some work. I think he has to kill I don't know. What does he have to kill? So now the Brood Queen won.
He needs to kill Nephrax and Doom Rider and Brood Queen.
Yeah, like when he played the Brood Queen 1, I was like, that's kind of pointless. And then Mappo draws his hand, and you're like, oh, well, in a hand like that, he's not pointless. She's not pointless at all. Now she's suddenly amazing. I mean, do you go all in and just kill Doom Rider? I mean, is the level 1 Doom Rider that you can Spite Mage at any moment that terrifying? I don't actually know what the play is here. I'd be tempted to just level a Devourer and maybe go like Devour in 1, Dire Hound it, and put the Dire Hound in 3 to not take the damage from the Doom Rider and move on. I don't know. Doesn't seem great.
Things rarely do when you say them, though.
This feels like more of a leveling turn than anything else. Devour 2 can still be great on level 3.
He needs to be careful, though. He can't get too far behind, or he's just going to die too soon.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't feel like he has any amazing plays to make. I mean, I guess he could kill the Doom Rider if he wanted to just go all out killing him, but I think I like that better. Kill Nephrax.
You have to kill Nephrax.
Yeah.
You got to get him off the board.
Yep.
And that's part of why I like Nephrax so much, because that guy has a lot of HP.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I think I would have been tempted to play Devour there instead, blocking to level it, rather than playing Doom Rider. But maybe
Possibly.
Doom Rider Dire Hound. Maybe Dire Hound was better, though, to shrink that Doom Rider.
I think the Dire Hound is better because Devour could be, say, Brood Queened off, and you have no gain from it. Whereas the Brood Queen, you're getting the trigger no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, Doom Rider 2 is going to be really, really good here.
Yeah, it's definitely a pressure play.
You're going to get to blow up whatever you want. You got all kinds of plays at your disposal. That certainly works. He moves over. Oh, and he's doing it that way too, which is more interesting. Get them both leveled, are both bigger. Man, the level 1 is back to an 8/11. Mappo's got to be like, I just handled that guy. There we go. He's got the Spite Mage. Finally, he can handle the level 1 Doom Rider that's wrecked him for like 4 turns.
Welcome, Sir Spite Mage.
And I think Epidemic is probably the other choice. It's another bad hand. And you look at it, a lot of the reason that hand is so bad is because he's running packs. Imagine if those were actual good creatures.
Yep, could be a lot better. Pact is a volatile card, and with the amount of clutter people are playing right now.
Oh, wow. Devour 2 plus Epidemic is
Kind of
particularly
gorgeous.
strong here. He makes it a lot less strong by that play.
Well, yeah,
That was a smart play on his part.
that's a nice sized Doom Rider too.
Yeah, I think you just go Devour or Spite Mage at this point. Kill him.
Yep,
Yeah,
there
that
it
looks
is.
smart. And you can go in front of the Brood Queen, take no damage. I think that's a fairly obvious play at this point.
There it is.
Yep. And now, has Mappo turned it? Mappo may have turned it.
Not yet, because Zwaxor has a
Brood
great hand here.
Queen.
Great hand here.
Oh, Brood Queen saves the day. And again, it's what makes her so amazing. Even if you cull the Brood Queen, the offspring still kills the Devourer through the poison. Brutal.
Utterly brutal. That
I
Brood
mean-
Fang just does so much work.
Oh, this is so tough. I guess you can kill the Brood Fang, though, with the Barbarian, but the Brood Queen is still going to kill your Devourer, so you're not gaining much. He's got a Brood Queen, he's got a Nephrax, both are staying on the board. I mean, is your best play to go, like, Deathweaver, pray to the Varna's Pact gods? If so...
I have no faith in the Varna's
That's
Pact
a
gods,
bad
but
looking
if you're a
play.
person who puts Varna's Pact in your deck, then I
Right.
think at some point you need to be ready to pray to the Varna's Pact gods.
Yep.
Because otherwise, what are you doing with that, taking up 3 spots in your deck?
Yeah, I mean, Dire Hound here would be pretty darn good. You could blow up that Brood Fang. So here we go. Oh, gods of the Varna's Pact, please deliver unto me a bounty of epic proportions.
Named.
That's actually not terrible, but he's just gonna.
It's not the worst thing you could get, Like,
Yeah, it's pretty bad though.
it doesn't do anything though.
He's just gonna go like either Lotus or Echo Wisp, whatever he chooses. Remove that card. Yeah, I think I like Echo Wisp better here. Then you can remove the one in front of the Deathweaver so that you can Lotus. All right, he doesn't do it that way. I think that's interesting. Okay. So
I like this, to be honest. And I also like him putting an Equus 3 in his deck.
Yeah, I do too. I think Mappo's in big trouble. So he got his Spite Mage 2. He definitely didn't want his 3 here. This is the worst timing ever. It's his only one in the deck.
Yeah,
and now
playing it first, get the Spite Mage 3 too soon.
That's so
I
terrible.
mean, he's in so much trouble here anyways that I don't think it really matters. He's lost the board at this point, and
I think
down
he has
to
to
33.
play it too to let his opponent know he doesn't have it. Like I almost think he has to Spite Mage the Brood Queen and Nephrax, and then just pray that his opponent draws nothing. I don't know. I think he's dead.
He's very dead.
All right, so he's going the whole different route. He's like Brood Queen 2, don't care. I'm gonna do this.
Nephrax is down, so there'll be no more free 10-10s.
That's a good start.
Yeah, that's a good place to begin.
I think something like Direhound in 1, hitting the Deathweaver in 5 looks pretty good.
I don't think it matters where you put the Direhound. So I think
this is even better because he's going to blow up the Direhound.
Yeah.
That's way better.
Yeah, that's why.
And then it comes over and kills him.
It doesn't matter where you put the Direhound.
Yeah, No, it does matter because if he puts it there, then he pops over, kills him. So that was great. He's dead.
Wait, what do you mean kills him? The Brood Queen just.
Did he kill?
He killed it with Brood Queen.
Oh, okay. See, I thought he was going to use the pop. I mean the -3/-3 to kill him. But
that killed the other one.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So he's got him. There's no way Mappo comes back from this. If he had a Spite Mage 3,
comes back from this, you have to pay me $100.
If he had a Spite Mage 3 right here, right now, he'd have a chance. In fact, he would win. I'm gonna go on a limb and say he would win because his opponent would have nothing on the board. His hand is not good. There's no way to handle that Devour. I think he could win. But
yeah, if he had the Spite Mage 3 here to take out the Doom Rider.
Look what he has to do. A pact that can't. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not like pact in this.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't run pact at this tournament. I would have lost my mind. I really would have.
But you might have lost your mind, but you might have won some games. I don't know.
No. If you've ever seen how pact works in my games, you would know that's not the case. Pact always bones me, and my opponent does crazy things. Just look up my game against Turkus if you need evidence of that. Oh man! All right, so he loses to Doom Rider. Doom Rider wrecks
itself has claimed him.
So Zwaxor that game was like threats. You don't need Devours. One Doom Rider on level 1 can do like 1,000,000 damage. You get another one and he does 1,000,000 damage. There you go.
It sure did.
Oh man, I can't wait till they fix Hound so that Pact doesn't interact with Hound. I feel like it's gonna be a complete meta shift. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Pact's terrible." It's gonna be very
I mean,
I don't like that bug stayed in the client, but what can you do, right? We play with what they give us.
I'm really impressed that they were able to clean it up as much as they did, as quickly as they did, and they couldn't fix Hound quickly because it's a deeper issue. So I'm just happy we got what we got.
They definitely fixed a lot of things. They fixed explosives. They fixed Lotus back into the game.
Yep.
So that was definitely for the better.
Yep, I agree. Would you have played Dragon there or Doom Rider? I think I would have played Doom Rider, but I'm interested to hear what you would have played.
I think I'd go Doom Rider.
Yeah, I think he's too good. All right, there goes the Burnout. And then what, Wisp? Yep.
Yeah, Wisp. He's not going to play either of those other guys.
And the cool thing is he can do really nice things like he can Spite Mage into one of them, Hound the one in front of the Doom Rider. The Doom Rider is going to grow to a 6/9. That's pretty strong. And he can put the Hound in front of Echo
Maybe
Wisp,
it's-
so that it'll trade again
Oh,
next
yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
Especially knowing his opponent doesn't have Devourers, you can really set up.
Set up board trades, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still dangerous because they have Doom Rider, but it's 3 cards instead of 5 or 6. All right. I think Direhound is the obvious play, especially since his opponent is not running Varna's Pact. Like that's the whole point, right? Like now you have a better Varna's Pact with Hound in the graveyard. He must be tempted to stick Deathweaver to the board. I really think Hound's the play.
Let's see what he does.
Ooh, I would have definitely Hounded in 5 too. Interesting.
I don't know. I think leaving the Echo Wisp there is fine. Because he has 3 Devourers in his deck. So
Guess what?
he has 3 Devourers in his deck.
That's a good point. Yep, that darn Broodfang Offspring. So annoying. Alright, so I think you get Devour to the board here. The question is, do you put it in a way that where you want it to live, or do you just say trade it off or something? Because you could go Devour, Cull, grow him a little bit. He'll grow again from the Doom Rider, take a little damage, and then hope next turn to grow him even bigger. Or he could be safer, and you could just put him in like 5 and cull the Brood Queen. I think I would put him in 3. Where would you put him?
I think I like 3. He does, in fact.
Epidemic
play
is
the
a
lane.
really weird play here. I don't like Epidemic. I feel like Epidemic doesn't gain you that much. But maybe Cole doesn't. I don't know. Another play would have been to put Devour in 4, so it would have traded with the Deathweaver. Okay. So apparently he's decided he's going to make his opponent sack something to pull Devour off the board.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, level 1 Devourer is not going to win the game anyways.
Okay. I like this better. He almost played Deathweaver. I like Doom Rider Brood Queen way better. I'm interested to see which he ends up playing. Yeah, I think this is the right play. I think he's going to get another huge Doom Rider this way. You put the Offspring in 2. You put the Doom Rider in 1. He'll move over. He'll actually kill that Dire Hound at the start of your turn. That's crazy strong. The only problem with Doom Rider is he could end up in front of Devour. I don't actually know how. I haven't isolated how those guys work entirely. Oh, he doesn't have a green card. Oh, no. That's horrible. It changes everything.
This is why I was so insistent on us forcing more green cards into our deck list.
We have
for the
more
weekend.
than he has. Because I had this happen quite a bit in testing. I think I went all the way up to 13, and even still I had a couple just key devastating moments where I didn't have one. It was just gut-wrenching.
Yeah, it definitely sucks to miss that trigger.
Oh, yeah. It's brutal. I think, again, you get the Devour down. It just eats the Brood Queen, so that's beautiful. Then the question becomes, what do you do after that? You could Varna's Pact to get it going. Dragon's reasonable. Cull. I'm kind of in favor of culling the Brood Queen, but he doesn't seem to have been interested in those lines.
You know, he's been liking to level the epidemics instead, which is not a thing I dislike.
Yeah.
I think epidemic is actually really solid for him.
Mm-hmm. One cull there is pretty interesting. Gives him a 6/4. Oh, is he gonna go? Yep, he is on the Doom Rider. Make a giant. Oh, he's not. I thought he was gonna make a giant Doom Rider. Instead, he's just gonna have a huge board. I think I would hit the Doom Rider. Oh no, you know what? The Spite Mage. You have 3 Spite Mages you're going up against. That's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want to be all in on one thread if you can avoid
Mappo
it.
could have turned it. As long as his opponent doesn't have a Brood Queen in hand, he's turned it. Oh, wait. He does.
He has an insane level
Yeah.
2 hand here.
Puts the Offspring there, and then Doom Rider 2.
Just crazy good. I mean,
And that's like practically game. Because
that's
now,
your 2 cards that you want.
who do you Spite Mage here? Like, the obvious choice is Brood Queen, but you're not going to have any guys on the board anyway. Is it better just to hit the Doom Rider so he doesn't grow out of control?
Yeah, if you're gonna have no creatures on the board, then you should take the Doom Rider because he's the threat that kills you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then just the problem is, what's the second card? You just level something like a Doom Rider to kill the Deathweaver. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's decided to do. Just level a card, level that pact. See, then that's the difference. I think I would rather level Doom Rider than random packs. And
Yeah.
that's what differentiates my way of how I would rather play this deck. Ooh, very interesting. I would have taken the Doom Rider off. Wow, he's really set himself up. Oh, that worked out so perfectly for him. Oh my god.
He can just move his own guy though
Until
if he wants. Or yeah,
until
that's
he,
even better. Just kill it with double
pounded him
hounds. There you
into
go.
oblivion. Alright, that Dire Hound is going to be a beast. So the Devour 2 is coming down. Then what? No way to handle the Doom Rider. I mean, what do you do?
No, yeah, and I really wish he'd taken the Doom Rider off instead of the
Oh
Brood
my
Queen.
god, I know. I think that was a huge blunder. Epidemic maybe here? At least reduce him. An EP3 seems pretty strong. Whew, boy, that's interesting.
There you go.
Here we go. Brood Queen, poison in front of... We've seen this about 1,000 times.
Yeah, every time there's a Devour on the other side, a Brood Fang goes in front of it, poisons it, and then it dies.
Yep. And he can cull, but to what end? I mean, the Doom Rider 2 is going to win the game, so...
Yeah, it doesn't really accomplish much.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I was trying to get at, talking about the Devourer being not super great against these, because you saw in game 1, Devourer won as long as Zwaxor found no Brood Queens, which he didn't. Later in the game, he found 0 copies of Brood Queen.
Yep.
But if there's Brood Queens coming down, either with the triggers or with the Brood Fangs, Devourer cannot ever, snowball and win.
Yeah, and here we go. We got another Brood Queen coming down.
3.1 Brood Queen is just brutal.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Yeah, I like that. Play the Invoker.
Ran
Buff
out of
somebody.
lane, Dennis.
I think I would buff the level 3 Brood Queen. Who did he buff? Was it the Doom Rider?
No, he buffed the Doom Rider. So that it's
Yeah, I would
sizable.
not have done that because now any Spite Mage kills him. I would have buffed a guy out of Spite range mage myself.
He actually has level 2 Spy Mages this game, though, so it's not bad. Like, it's not like he has 3 underlevel level 1 Spy Mages that are looking for some spot where they can find value.
I agree. I just hate giving my opponents better value for lower. Alright, so EP3 here allows him to then cull the Doom Rider. Is that what he's going to do? Oh, he's going to burn him out. Okay. It's an interesting dilemma. What's better, to remove Burnout from your deck and get rid of that card, or not to? Because that's basically what he had, because leveling Cull doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
All right,
going to be
3
a steamrolling.
How about 2 Brood
Time.
Queen as well?
Time to hit that gear button.
This is a hostile situation.
Time to hit the gear button. You got
I am
one play.
intimately familiar with this style of board.
Gear, concede. That's the only play at your disposal. Even with double Devour 3, no viable
Absolutely
play.
nothing. No, nothing.
And he's able to just
Battle
roar for the
and a
win.
win.
Well,
All right, 2-1 for Zwaxor.
my pick of Zwaxor is looking pretty promising right here. The Brood Queen deck beating the, quote, counter to it, as Mappo so boisterously claimed.
Yes, that's what he said.
Do you like how I keep playing up his... He was like, it counters it. I'm like, it's a hard counter.
I wouldn't say you're playing it up at all. That's exactly how he described
Yes,
it.
you're right. My memory was was deceiving me for a moment.
Yeah, it just needed to be jostled.
All right, this could do it as Zwaxor can finish it off. We'll see if you can. After we are done here, we're going to do some giveaways to celebrate the greatness that is the Forge.
Absolutely.
Devour, boom, right to the board.
The holiday.
All right, he's a phase for nothing. And does he Dire Hound here to get him off the board? If he does, it's real dangerous because his opponent just goes, cool, thanks, man, Varna's Pact, bam, full value.
Sure, but I mean, at the same time, who cares? Right?
Sort of. I mean, if that's the whole reason people are playing Varna's Pact, it's kind of dangerous. You're not gaining that much by getting a level 1 Devour off the board there.
Yeah, I know. I just mean he wouldn't be gaining that much by hitting a Hound off the Varna's Pact anyway. You know what I mean?
You wipe his Hound off, you get your Varna's Pact leveled. That's kind of the whole point of playing Varna's Pact. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that's the whole point of it. And if that is the whole point of it, do you really want to play into your opponent doing that? And maybe the answer is still yes. I don't know. He could do Burnout on a Doom Rider. Just stick a Devour down. He's got 2 Devours leveled.
There it goes. Yep.
Seems reasonable. Probably would have devoured first, but he wants Evan Skull to just handle
He's
that.
going for Evan Skull.
Yeah, he's
Which
seen.
I actually like. He needs some big guys because he has been far behind the Doom Riders in Player Level 2.
Sure has. All right, so he gets a really nice Echo Wisp here, getting a trade and an 8/3 out of it. I mean, that's pretty great. Can't really ask for much more. Immune to the Echo Wisp, so he's gonna probably play Doom Rider. Does he play another Ebon Skull? Oh no, he probably doesn't play an Ebon Skull now. I mean, he can eat the Doom.
That right there was a true Tiny Grimes moment.
Gut instinct was slam that Evan Skull on 1.4.
Obviously, he doesn't do that. Yeah, I kind of like that. You just trade off the Dire Hound to grow him, hit, say, like the Death Weaver, make him pretty bad. Actually, maybe kill the Echo Wisp, because Death Weaver's still going to provide his function even at a low health level.
Right, sure.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so Zwaxor, how many Brood Queens did he hit? Was it 0 so far?
This will be the first one, I believe.
Yep. So that's what we're basically seeing. Brood Queen, he does fine. No Brood Queen, he loses. Brood Queen deck. Yep. That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Spite Mage into the Brood Queen. Doom Rider. Do you go into and take that damage? Probably. Double Deathweaver is kind of annoying. If your opponent gets a level 2 Brood Queen, that offspring is going to be a monster.
Monstrously huge. No other way to describe it.
Interesting. He doesn't have to... He has some other plays, because he could Barbarian to kill the Brood Queen as well. And maybe that's actually better than playing Spite Mage here. It doesn't grow the Doom Rider as much, though, so I don't... We'll have to see which direction he decides to go. Does he want to grow the Doom Rider? Oh, because he could hit the Brood Fang if he really wanted to.
Alright, there's the Barbarian.
I think I would have been tempted to hit that Brood Fang and make it so that he had 2 threats that had to be dealt with. Oh, but I guess he would only have 1 level 1 threat. So.
Yeah, I think this is okay.
Yeah. The nice
Zwaxor
thing is
finds a second Brood Fang, but it's a level late.
Yeah, and if he puts the Offspring in front of the Doom Rider is just going to move over to lane 5 anyway. So that's kind of interesting. Unless he blows up the Invoker. No? Even then that won't work. Okay. Interesting. So here's a spot where culling your own guy is a really viable play. To cull the Barbarian, moves the Doom Rider over. The question is, do you need to get bodies on the board right now? Can you make a cute play?
I don't think that's worth it at all.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, but it's just something to bear in mind that it's a cutesy play.
It's a little bit worrying to me that culling your own guy here is the first thing he thought of on this turn.
I wanted to mention it, Jake.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. What other plays do you even have here? Like, culling that Brood Queen doesn't do that much for you. Oh no, I'm not even really sure what the best play is. I guess it's level Doom Rider.
Yeah, the Broodfang proc is crazy good. Demo buff is 100% on the money there.
Yeah. Okay. He's got a 6'9", level 1 Doom Rider. Basically, Zwaxor has had a pretty bad game here with his getting Brood Fangs, and he's still not struggling very much at all.
No, he's in decent shape.
Alright, so Spite Mage removes the Doom Rider, of course. Then the question becomes, what do you do from there? Probably, I think I would Barbarian in 1, take out the Echo Wisp in 3. It gives you a chance to get a fairly large Doom Rider. I mean, not that large, it's only level 1, but... yeah, that works too. There you go. So he's got a decent board. Zwaxor's probably just going to double Deathweaver. Basically set up the next turn where he might be able to do sort of ridiculous plays. His opponent's got double Devourer, though. Oh my goodness. With no Brood Queen in sight, this could be the winning play.
It's interesting. Double Deathweaver versus double Devourer.
Yeah, and the problem is there are no death triggers to be had. So his opponent is just going to be able to stick stuff in front of Devours and kill them. He's going to kill him with a level 2 Aetherphage and a level 1 Offspring from a Brood Queen. Oh, the humanity.
That's actually a really big Offspring. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my goodness, it is. I momentarily forgot that he's going to eat him. It's not a trade. He's going to eat him.
Snake is just going to devour him.
Oh my goodness. On the plus side, he does get a level 3 Devour, which he can stick in 3 and get some death triggers on. He can just stick an Ebon Skull down to eat a Deathweaver. That's probably what he's going to have to do. Well, that's not too bad. This is like his one moment where he might be able to come back here. If he can't come back here, he's done.
Like dinner.
So let's see. His opponent is going to do 30 here. With Roar, that's 36.
That's a lot of damage.
So he's just going to Aetherphage over the top. That's pretty reasonable. That way he doesn't grow him anymore.
That is necessary.
What's he going to pull? I guess the Varna's Pact?
Varna's Pact for sure. Cull does
and
nothing.
then, do you just Roar here, maybe? Nope. He's going to Echo Wisp.
No, I actually like the Roar.
Yeah, I do too. I was just
You
surprised.
have him almost dead at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mappo needs a really good hand here. He really doesn't have it. I think he just rolls over and dies now.
He doesn't have it at all.
The nice thing is he can Doom Rider and Deathweaver and barely survive unless his opponent gets a Roar. Spoiler alert! His opponent has a Roar. Alright, so this one looks to be over to me. I don't see a play that
And that will be 3-1.
doesn't end it. Yep, and that'll do it. So the hard counter to the Brood Queen deck was countered. It was foiled.
Yeah, and you know, this last game was another one where there really wasn't big leveled Brood Queens coming down. Like, you know, the first game was taken down by the Devourers because there was no Brood Queens to knock them off for free. This
Yep.
time there was no big leveled Brood Queens. But
Yep.
he got there anyways.
It still didn't matter. All right, well, let's bring on our champion. I don't know what's going on here with the score. There we go. All right, Zwaxor, you are the Forge champion. Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
So how'd you pull this off? I mean, your opponent's a teammate. He scouted your deck for weeks, built a counter to it, and you crushed him into a fine powder.
Yeah, well, as I said, the Brood Queen deck just seems strong enough to counter the counters. Like, It has a million backup plans that just work. Every time you saw one of the games I won with Nefrax because, well, to be fair, he didn't draw his removal on time, but just getting one activation off an Nefrax is usually enough.
Yeah.
And then the last game I won pretty much without Brood Queens, but that was because I had leveled Tarsuses. So the underleveled Brood Queens triggers were actually enough to take out his big guys.
Yeah, well, making 10 power Brute Fangs is not bad.
I don't
That
think
works.
I've ever seen a level 1 Broodfang eat a level 2 Devour before. That was fairly impressive, actually.
Those Devourers were devoured for sure.
They were.
Yeah, they got owned.
Yeah, that was the most impressive game to me. Game 1 looked like what might happen in this if you draw poorly, and then the last game you didn't draw the Brood Queens, and it still didn't matter. You just, like you said, it was nice to see what Deathweaver is capable of in that matchup.
Yeah, well, I'd say game 1 was also an example of what can happen in a tournament setting where the rounds are best of 1, where maybe the opponent doesn't really know what the NT deck is capable of, and does not prioritize something like Doom Rider as highly, even though Doom Rider is probably the best trump in the matchup.
Yeah,
Doom Rider and Tarsus, pretty much.
definitely. Since you mentioned that, are you a proponent of going to best of 3 for Swiss, or do you think best of 1 works fine as long as there's enough rounds and a big enough cut and all that?
I think a big enough cutoff is a very important thing. Like having most of the 5-2s go into top 16, is probably pretty important. I think best of 3 would be cool, but it would probably just take too long. Like games of Soulforge are made in such a way that they take somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes, and having a round that's twice that, potentially 3 times that, is just unreasonable.
Yeah, that may be. I don't know if you saw the game where I nearly ran out of time.
I saw the last of that on coverage. That was pretty sick. But like against Hans in I think it was the semifinals, I went to we took like 70 minutes for 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty crazy. We did by accident challenge on time there, but like it would have probably gone as long if he hadn't.
Yeah, I just got to say, only a complete madman challenges Hans to an untimed match.
Yeah, that was a critical error.
Well, it worked out in the end.
Yes, I agree it worked out, but I got to say, like, Hans could have, in theory, taken like 4 hours for that match.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that he played at a rapid rate.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Zwaxor. Do you think you'll be available next week?
Yeah, I definitely should be.
All right. So next week, I believe we're going to have the champion of this last event and get to be, his name is too different on the 2 things. Something KD.
No, it's got to be KD both times. The
go.
2 is 2.
Okay.
T-O.
And then the second place finisher is Zwaxor. Maybe we'll have the same list, and Zwaxor can show us what should have happened, and that he should be the rightful heir to the World Championship qualifier.
Yeah,
Should be
sure.
interesting.
I hope so. And
All right.
let this be a lesson to everyone. Don't play Varnus Pact in your decks. It's a bad plan.
I gotta say, Varnus Pact in 5 games did nothing, except
4
for
games.
be a card that when he drew it, he was like, "Oh God, it's a Varnus Pact." That was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
I was not impressed with it at all.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Well, we will see you all next week on the Forge, where 2 will enter, 1 will leave champion, and 1 will leave beaten, battered, and bruised.